What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Fallout video, and today I'm bringing you episode 30 of our top 5 mods series. And sorry about the break I took last week. I don't like going that long without uploading, but sometimes work and school and stuff gets in the way, and I don't have time to make videos, so I'm sorry about that. But we got another mod video today, so if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and let's get right into it.
With my two fists divine, but I'm going nowhere. Oh yeah, I'm the type of guy that likes to roam around.
Never pay full price for games again, guys. Use the link in the description to get up to 90% off of all G2A games. Alright guys, so the first mod we have is the Beantown Interiors Project by Chuck Steele, and basically what this mod does is it implements a ton of new interiors to houses in Fallout 4 that wouldn't normally have it. So they'd have like a boarded up door and you couldn't enter them at all. Now he's made it into a actual house that you can go into, and it actually looks really good. As you can see here, the light looks amazing even for PS4. He's added in a ton of new details. You can also have some items in here that you can actually loot from, and it just adds in a ton of new interiors into the game that you can now explore. Also, another thing that I have found is actually there is enemies in here sometimes too. There can be mole rats and like rad roaches and little enemies like that you can encounter while you're exploring these houses, and adds in a little difficulty to exploring some of these houses. Now, I've reviewed mods in the past that does this, but like all the other ones I've really tested haven't actually been this in depth. As you can see, like, there was so much detail in this house, and there's so many items and things like that. It actually looks like it was created by the game designers, not a modder. Now, he has actually put a lot of work into this. There is a ton of actual locations where these houses can be at, and that is 4 in Beaver Creek, which is in Far Harbor, 2 at Brad Burton, which is in Nuka World, 1 in Charleston, 13 in Cambridge, 3 in Cambridge Crater, 11 in Concord, 7 in Forest Grove Marsh, 1 in Hyde Park, 4 in Jamaica Plain, and 1 in Lexington, and there's like a bunch more after that. But he has added in a ton of these. These houses have bedrooms, kitchens, bathrooms, living rooms, all that type of stuff that would be in a normal house. And some of them do actually have like an upstairs that you can go onto, which you normally wouldn't be able to. As you can see right here, you can go onto the roof and you can actually get some pretty cool items. The only thing that is a little bit annoying is to actually go into the house, you have to actually load into it. So you have to go through a little cut screen. It's not just like a door you open, which does kind of get annoying, but it doesn't take that long at all. The mod creator also says in his description that he does plan adding on to this and making it more in-depth and stuff like that. I don't know what that entails by adding new things and stuff like that, but I'm really excited to see what he has to put here in the future. This mod does not require any DLC or anything like that, and for the most part, it's going to be pretty much compatible with every mod that you're going to be using. Just watch out for mods that are adding in new interiors to other parts. It may interfere with that, but overall, it's a pretty solid mod. The next mod we have is the Crimson Rider's Convenient Power and Electricity mod by Crimson Rider. Now, this mod creator actually has created a lot of really decent mods in the past that have to do with base building and just settlements in general. Now, basically what this mod does is it makes some workshop objects more convenient to build, and some will actually now generate power. Not to mention, as you can see right here, turrets and things like that will not actually be requiring you to actually link power to them anymore, which is super convenient for what I have here, because like all around my base, I have several turrets defending it, which would require a ton of power if I actually wanted to use missile turrets. But as you can see now, you won't have to link anything up. They kind of just go on their own. He also added in a ton of little things in the game, such as the connectors. All wall and ceiling connectors now have their power radius increased to 1,000, and the default from a stock game is actually 500, so it's going to be basically double the radius. Also, power switch boxes now act as generators and provide 10 power, which isn't a lot, but I guess it's kind of useful. And a lot of little items like that will now generate power, and then some items won't require power at all. And it really isn't an OP mod, it just makes base building and stuff like that way easier, and I definitely do plan on using it in time lapses in the future, because sometimes it can be a pain of just linking things together, and if you use a turret, if you use them all on one line, if one goes out, they all go out. This is a nice little simple mod if you're not really that good at hiding wires, or you just don't want to use them in general, and it doesn't really interfere with any other mods and doesn't require any DLC. Alright, so the next one we have is a Modern Minutemen Military mod by RSH7444, and this essentially adds in a leveling system to Minutemen. Now with this, it basically assigns 5 main officers, which is Sturgis, who is a captain, Diamond City Anderson, who is a captain, Minutemen radio announcer Johnson, who is a major, Ronnie Shaw, who's a colonel, and Preston Garvey, who is a colonel. And these are all basically levels with the player, so as you get stronger, they get stronger. You could also turn companions like McCready and Kate into modern Minutemen just by changing their outfit selection, which would make them also level up with you, and they all have the rank of Major, I believe. Another cool thing that this mod does is it actually adds in the ability for Minutemen to go on missions with you. So all the endless missions that Preston Garvey sends you, you normally have to do them yourself and then hope you for the best. Now, actually, you can carry a flag with you, and then Minutemen will spawn with you and level up with you, so you always have that advantage, and basically help you do the mission that you have been assigned. I'm actually pretty glad that I found this mod just because it adds in a ton of new things for the Minutemen. It makes them a lot more interactive than they are in the base game. Not to mention all the different guys, as they level up, when they level up, they will actually get a new uniform and actually look a lot more cool than they did before. Also, for this mod, you're not going to be needing any DLC or anything like that, and it's going to be compatible with everything you use pretty much for the most part. I would keep an eye on mods that do interact with Minutemen and stuff like that. It may affect it. But overall, it's going to be a really cool mod. I do recommend adding this into your game if you do play with the Minutemen a lot or you use them in your storyline. And I feel like this would be a really cool mod to use to start the game from fresh again and watch them level up with you. The next mod we have is the Abandoned Prydwen mod for the PS4, and that is going to be by Caleb68. And basically, this is two mods in one, essentially, just because it adds in a Prydwen into the Glowing Sea that is basically abandoned, and there's no crew, and no one knows why the ship was actually abandoned there. And it also adds in the Capsized Factory, which both are settlements but cannot be linked, unfortunately. These places are going to be located just north of the actual crater where the bomb landed, and you can get up onto the Prydwen by going to the flight deck and just taking a vertibird up to the top, and you can explore it all there. There's going to be basically just pretty much similar to the Prydwen that the Brotherhood of Steel have, but this one is basically abandoned. It's kind of creepy. Now, for the Capsized Factory, it is going to be a settlement as well, and the mod creator suggests that you should just send settlers there. Their goal, since they're the only ones that have natural rad resistance, because you are in the Glowing Sea, after all. The Capsized Factory also covers the flight deck of the Prydwen here, so you can set up guards and whatnot on the flight deck of the Prydwen, which is pretty cool. And inside the factory, there are goals you need to clear out first, after which you can use the workbench to scrap just about everything in it to give it like 2 small rooms that you can now build things in. If you scrap all the scaffolding floors that can be attached just outside the doors, you can build your own walkways down to the lower floor. Now let's talk about the abandoned airship for a little bit. The abandoned airship itself has some goodies already set up in it, like the bar for galley and the spot for the surgeon and the barber chair, which are going to have a ton of just stem packs and Rad-X and things like that. Not to mention, if you go onto the main deck, there is going to be a whole bunch of power armor you can use for yourself, or you can assign people to them to actually guard the ship. If you are playing survival, there are water fountains all the way around the ship that provide 10 water each, which is kind of helpful. Overall, this mod is really cool and definitely full of things that you can do, and I like how much work he actually spent on this. I like how he added in 2 settlements that you can now build at, and I definitely do plan on making videos here in the future of base builds later on down the road once I run out of bases in the stock game or something like that. I definitely do plan on building here. Also, this mod does not require any DLC or anything like that, which is always nice because I know a lot of you guys don't always have them, and it's going to be pretty much compatible just because it kind of sticks to its own little script. Our final mod we have is a shipment of building materials by JCE, and this basically adds in a little container next to some workbenches that's going to have a ton of materials, which is going to be super helpful for base building. Now, the game just doesn't just give this to you. You do actually have to buy it, which I do kind of like just because it kind of gets rid of the OP factor, and actually you have to earn it yourself and buy it from vendors at Percy's shop or Trudy's shop at the Gentleman Diner. And this is going to cost 10,000 caps, but it does have a huge amount of materials each. Now, by default, you do get one of these on your Sanctuary workbench for the first time if you load up the game, but you do have to start a new game for that to work. There's also going to be a ton of shipments just hidden around the map, and a few of those are near the slog, near a relay tower, and hidden at a cemetery somewhere in the game. So if you don't feel like going around and actually having to buy them, you can just look for them and find them for free, but they are kind of hidden. I haven't actually found one yet. I personally like this mod a ton because sometimes when I'm making my base building time lapses, I do use a ton of materials, so it's a lot easier than having to go into a cheat room mod and just getting a whole bunch of the materials there, or just duplicating all of them. It saves a lot of time just spending 10,000 caps, getting a ton of materials to build with, and that's why I like it personally. Also, it's not going to be requiring any DLC or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about it. Also, it's not going to be interfering with any other mods. So, that is pretty much all I have for you today, guys. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this video. plan on a glitch video coming Wednesday, and if you guys did enjoy this one, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.